Alright, so this is my everyday kind of school slash work bag. But I'm going to start things first off at the back. I mean, it doesn't have like a hiking belt at the bottom, and the straps are kind of small, but it works. I don't have to carry it that far every day. I've got a little light on a carabiner here. It's nothing special, it's nothing super bright, but if I just need to find something really quick, or if it's only a little bit dark, it's kind of nice to have it right there. At the back, we've got the laptop sleeve. And I have my laptop in here. The laptop charger cord could easily be overlooked. Of course it's used to charge the laptop, but in a pinch, this could be used as cordage. I've got a Ziploc bag in here, and some zip ties, as well as just a couple plastic shopping bags. Now, the bags can be used for waterproofing, or let's say I have wet clothes, they could just go in the shopping bags. And the zip ties have, unlimited uses. But that's it for there. I try to keep that pocket pretty clean. Now in the main pocket, just to illustrate that even with all the stuff you'll see that I've jammed in here, I can still carry, plenty of everyday stuff. I can still carry all that. And the only other thing I have in here is my med kit and a spare pair of socks. For kind of an everyday kit, my med kit is ridiculously large. I know that. But it also has some hygiene stuff in here. And when it comes to medical stuff, I just like to be prepared. And if I need more space in this bag or in another bag, I have other smaller med kits. So I'll go through and take this all apart at the very end. But moving forward in the bag, we have this very front little pouch here, which is actually padded, so it's a glasses case. I have headphones in here, which of course could be used as cordage if it came down to it. I do carry sunglasses in the glasses pouch. I also keep a whole assortment of pens, pencils, Sharpies, all that jazz in this pocket. This pocket, in the very front, is where all the goodies are. So one thing that I carry with me pretty much every day is a charged Anker power core. This could charge my phone several times, so I keep a lightning cable in there, as well as the charging cord to the Anker core, which is really just a micro USB. Now I also keep a big old scissors in here because I'm not going to carry a large knife with me. A lot of the places I go, you're not allowed to have large knives, and I don't want to be that guy with a fixed blade in my bag everywhere I go. So these scissors mostly are used to cut paper. I've never had to use them for anything else. But I have scissors that are like an all-metal construction, so if I needed to, I could use them as kind of a knife. But they also are a good striker for the ferro rod I have somewhere else in this kit, as it has a nice sharp 90-degree angle on there and a nice big handle for me to throw sparks with. I also keep a deck of cards in here, which isn't necessarily a survival tool, but I'm more often just stuck with an hour on my hands having to sit and wait somewhere. And if I'm with a group of people, a deck of cards can make that time go a lot faster. And so they're light, and there's so many different games you can play with them. I think throwing a deck of cards into your everyday bag isn't a bad idea. I also keep just an assortment of snacks in this pocket. This rotates because, I eat them. It's not exactly a meal, but, I usually probably have about 1,000 calories in assorted food in my bag. Now I keep a multi-tool in here, which I believe is the Gerber suspension in this nice little sheath. The Gerber suspension, which has this nice spring-loaded pliers, which is the cutting tool. I think they're like $20 on Amazon. I've really enjoyed them. It's got a couple different cool tools. We've got just the knife blade, we've got a screwdriver, another screwdriver, we've got a little saw, and this saw I've actually used. It's pretty good at cutting notches and sticks and stuff. And it does have a lock for the blades, so you have to pull down to close them, which I like. It's not going to close on your hands. And then on this other side we have a serrated blade, we have a can opener and a bottle opener on the same one. I really like this. A lot of times can openers and bottle openers are separate. I like that they fit it all in one. We have a nice little small flathead screwdriver that you could use kind of as an awl if you had to. And then we have the little scissors on here, which are fine. I haven't been super impressed with them, but they do work, but I carry the bigger scissors because those aren't super good for cutting paper or anything. I also just keep a normal Bic lighter in here. It's always good to have fire, and I have 3 ways to make fire in this kit, but a Bic lighter is reliable and easy. You don't always want to have to pull out a ferro rod if you need fire. I also keep a flashlight in here. It's nothing fancy. This was a cheaper flashlight, but it does work, and it uses a AA. If you're going to store a flashlight long term, it's recommended that you don't store the battery inside of it, but since I use it on a fairly regular basis, I keep the battery inside of it and just check it periodically if I haven't been using it. That is it for this front pocket. And something about this pocket that I'm trying to change is a lot of the stuff kind of comes in and out. There will be times where I'll take this multi-tool out to use it, or I'll need the power bank for something else, and I want to get some that I can just leave in here, because if it's not in there when I want to grab it to head out, I'll just forget it. But I do have this pouch on the side with some stuff that never comes out. The thing on top here is just some fruit snacks, sometimes it's a granola bar, but just some little item of food, so that if I've taken these out or I've eaten them, I have some little snack. And then I have the little survival kit, as well as I keep a bandana in here, I keep a pen, and then in the colder months I keep 2 sets of hand warmers. Now, inside of this little kit isn't all that much, but it could make a big difference in a pinch. I have a little bit of toilet paper in here, which could be used for toilet paper, or for starting a fire, or for wounds. I keep just 3 little band-aids in here. I just keep a full box of matches in here. They're strike-on box, they're not water or stormproof. I want to upgrade them at some point, but I keep them in the Ziploc bag, and I've got 32 of them. And then I've got water purification tablets and the instructions for them. If I didn't have the Nalgene, I could just do it in the plastic bag that this is in, or in the gallon bag that I have in the bag. I have 2 alcohol wipes, which could also be used for first aid or fire. I have a decent amount of duct tape rolled around, I think this is a hotel key card that I cut in half. But as I've mentioned a few times, I've got a ferro rod and a striker in here. It's a decent ferro rod, you know, pretty basic. I've got this little whistle in here. This actually came off of a Bear Grylls ferro rod, but it works pretty well. And then also I just keep a couple paper clips and safety pins. You know, they have multiple uses. I suppose you could turn them into fish hooks if you had to. I know how to do that. But just having little metal things, you know, these could be rigged into all sorts of different things. The only thing left is the Nalgene, good for emergencies, but also just, you know, hydrate or dehydrate. And I think for everything in the bag, that's it, but now we can take a closer look at my med kit. So this is my everyday carry med kit, and it is a lot larger than most of the other med kits I see people carrying. That's for a couple reasons. I don't want to be stuck in a situation where I either need something for an emergency, like say I come across a car wreck, or if I just have an upset stomach or a headache, I want to have what I need. And I have the space for it, and it's not that heavy, and if I need more space, I have other smaller med kits that I can just take this one out and put that one in. But why don't I start taking you through it? Right off the bat, in this very front pocket, we have a couple different gloves in a Ziploc bag. I always want to have gloves at easy access so I can just throw them on if I come across like a car accident or someone who needs help, because these protect you and the other person. I have some duct tape in here, not as much as my other rule, but it's always good to have. Now moving to the main pouch, like I said, this isn't just a first aid kit, it's also a hygiene kit, so I just keep some deodorant in here. I also have some prescription pills in here because I take them and I always want to have extras in case I forget in the morning. At the very top, we have a big thing of gauze. They're not that expensive, so I have a lot of gauze. Most of all my kits will have just one of these big rolls in it if you need to stuff a big wound or you just need to dress something. I also have one of these Israeli combat compresses. These are used for big wounds on extremities, arms or legs. It's basically a big piece of gauze with elastic. So you put the gauze on, then you wrap the elastic around, and you can kind of torque it so it has a lot of pressure, and pressure is, you know, vital for stopping blood flow. And then in terms of trauma, I also have quick clot. If you had a big wound that was bleeding a lot, you know, this is basically my trauma package, but this could be the first thing that you apply. It could be stuffed inside of a wound. It coagulates with blood so that the clotting happens a lot faster. So in theory, you could do quick clot, and then you could put one of these Israeli bandages over it. I just want to have options. Quick clot could also be useful if the injury wasn't on an arm or a leg, so that I could have something other than just gauze. But you'd want to do quick clot and then apply some pressure, I believe. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so, you know, keep that in mind. Don't take medical advice because of me. I also keep some of this, like, hurt-free antiseptic solution in here. It works similarly to, like, isopropyl alcohol or hydrogen peroxide, but it doesn't hurt as much. It also has a little bit of lidocaine in here, so it does some pain relief. But I believe this doesn't do as much tissue damage as, say, hydrogen peroxide or alcohol, which will kill bacteria and stuff, but will also damage the tissue and make healing take longer. I have these trauma shears in here so that you could cut away someone's clothing if you had to get access. It's also just nice to have a cutting tool for bandages. Speaking of bandages, I have a bag with athletic tape, you know, more of this tape that you can wrap around, and a little thing of gauze, and then I also have a new, fresh ACE bandage. More absorbency, feminine hygiene products. I don't need them, but I have friends who do, and they also are absorbent, so they could be used in lieu of, or at least the pads could be used in lieu of gauze or gauze pads. Some people say you could stick a tampon in a bullet hole wound. I mean, I'm no expert, but I've heard multiple people say that, no, you don't want to shove a tampon in a bullet hole. No. Use something else. There are plenty of better options. I have assorted pills and medications. I mean, I like to be prepared, so I have a lot of stuff. I have these Fisherman Friends cough drops, which are nice and strong. I find them useful. And a little thing of Tums. And then I also have Dramamine because I get car sick. It's motion sickness reducer. And then a bottle of ibuprofen. It's a big bottle, but it's probably the most used item in here. And then I also, in this bag, just so I don't lose it, keep my tweezers and a big safety pin. Both of these used in conjunction, used for getting splinters out. Another commonly used item, you don't want to not have a tweezers. And then in here, I have other pills all in little blister packs. Nighttime cold and flu gels. This is some Dayquil. I have antidiarrheals, caffeine pills. This is, I believe, sinus relief and congestion. Lots of Benadryl for allergic reactions or for treating itch. And more antidiarrheals. Antidiarrheals are overlooked. They're incredibly useful for survival situations, you know, because if you're, you know, you could be losing a lot of water. Then I have this bag, which I won't open up, but it has a couple alcohol pads and then some steri strips and butterfly bandages and then just a whole assortment of different band-aids and bandages, different sizes, different areas, some waterproof. I like to keep an assortment. I have an itch stick, which is just Benadryl liquid inside of this, you know, stick, which you can rub on insect bites. I get mosquito bites real bad. This is vital. I keep this in all my bags because it's so nice to be able to treat itching. I have assorted creams, hydrocortisone cream for itch, triple antibiotic ointment for wounds, and then also some toothpaste in here, you know? Gotta keep fresh. We've got this is normally at the back, so I could easily reach it. Just a emergency blanket, you know, could keep you warm in emergency, but also is used to treat shock. Shock can be a big killer, so, you know, keeping someone warm and dry, that can go a long way. Another bag that has like non-stick, non-adherent pads, up to some even very large sizes. This can be used in conjunction with the gauze or tape to make big bandages or to help absorb things. And then finally we have an EpiPen in here. If you are allergic to something, or someone who's close to you, a child or someone you're around a lot, has allergies, anaphylactic allergies, carry an EpiPen with you. I mean, it's common sense. But there are people that I know who have, potentially lethal allergies, and their EpiPen will stay in their car, or they leave it at home some days. And that's it for my med kit. It seems quite large for something to carry every day, and the vast majority of the time I don't use most of these things. But when I do need like Benadryl or a caffeine pill, it's very nice to just have it in my bag. So that's my everyday carry bag and the med kit that goes inside of it. Of course, I'm always trying to improve it, and so things will come and go, but I'd love to hear your suggestions if you have any ideas. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it and found some information that you could take away from it and put into your own life. Till next time.